young teenage girls. And I never dreamed, of course, that they would eventually become part of my life, and that would be Andrea and Jessica. He also had an interesting book that it was a huge, fat dictionary that the department had given to him as a thank you for serving as chair. And it was inscribed to him on the cover, along with this phrase, "He led us through thick." And I looked at that, and when I finally got on tenure and started going to department meetings as a full-fledged member, I totally got it. Thick, thick. Not that they're thick-headed, it's just okay. However, at the time I was married, I had young children, he was married, he was an older guy. When I first saw him, I thought, oh, he's handsome, but he's old. And so we really didn't socialize that much. It wasn't really until the late 90s that our story began. At this time, I was single. I had been married for 24 years, and my husband at that time came out of the closet, moved to Palm Springs, and a couple of members of our department, Bob Marine and his partner, Orlando Martin, sort of took me under their wing, and we had bridge parties and things like that. And I was at their house one day at a bridge, and they had music going, and this wonderful angelic voice came over their speaker system, and I said to Rob, "Who is that?" And it was Cecilia Bartoli, the most angelic opera voice I had ever heard. And so they said, "Sounds like you're ready for opera." I said, "Well, I guess so. I've never been to the opera." So they lent me their tapes. That was when you could put little cassette tapes. Those are things you put in your car, and listen to them. I could also do it at home, and I could follow the libretto because it came with it, so I knew what was going on. And finally, Orlando judged that I was ready for the big time. Rigoletto was playing, he said, and I think we should go, and he said, "Pamela," he was from Cuba, "Pamela, is there someone you would like to ask?" And I said, "Well, sort of." I said, "Yeah, there is. I would." And it was John, because by that time I was older and he was single and he looked really handsome and he was smart and we were friends. And I said, "Yeah." So this was in the earthquake years. We were teaching on the North Campus in trailers. And I ran into him on campus and I said, "Can I see you in my office after my class?" And he said, "Sure." So I taught my class. I don't know how, I was nervous as a cat. And when I got to my office, there he was, bless his heart. And and we were colleagues by this time, so he probably thought it was department business or something. And so we sat down, and I said, I have 2 tickets to the opera. Well, he sat back in his chair, and this was not department business. And I asked him if he would like to go. And he said, in this John way, and I knew that it was not going anywhere, he said, "First of all, I will have to ask you, is this a date?" And I thought, okay. I said, "Yes, it's a date." And he said, "Then I have to say no because I'm in a relationship right now." And I said, "Oh, I didn't know that if you were serious." He said, "No, we're not. I'm in a relationship." And I said, "Okay." So that went on for a few years. And one day I was in the mailroom, and John Clendenning appeared at the door. He had been off campus. He was FERPing that semester, which means he was partial. It was kind of a part-time retirement. You teach one semester and you're off a semester. His off semester. And he came to the door and he said, "I have something that you may be interested in hearing." And I said, "Oh," I said, your book's being reissued, blah, blah, you really have written another article? No. And he said, no. He said, I am out of the relationship now. And he said, my heart was just going, oh my God, oh my God. So I said, well then, I guess you can call me sometime. And I fled down to my office and I shut the door and I thought, oh my God, oh my God. And he called me that night, and that rest is history, as you will say. So I'm not going to cover anything else. That was the main story that people I thought were interested in, is how we got together. As Pat said, if there are other things you want to know about John, ask me later. But I would like to have John, the birthday boy, come to the microphone and say his thoughts on this day. Johnny?
Well, I am so happy to be here. And I am so happy that all of you are here with me. This is like a dream come true. And I also want to say a whole bunch of thank yous. And the first thank you is, thank you, Pamela. Yeah. You made all this happen. And I mean this party, but I mean a lot more than this party. I mean, you made all this happen. I have no idea what I would be if I did not have Pamela in my life today. I want to thank Jill and George, because he was part of it. Jill for putting together this incredible picture photo gallery. It was just astonishing. I want to thank Gabriel Albarian, who is the impresario of this gala. The menus that you found in your napkin, the cards that were at your table, the invitations that you received, the save the date that you received, all of this could not have happened without Gabriel. His exquisite taste shows through every aspect of what happened today. I want to thank Anise. Anise came to Pamela's assistance with the flowers on their table, the orchids, the little greenery around them. Heather was working here this morning, putting them all together. So this isn't just a party that happened because somebody made a reservation. It has been incredible. So here I am at 90. And you may think that I'm the oldest person in the room. Not true. The oldest person in the room is Don Cameron. A couple of years ago, Pamela and I attended Don Cameron's 90th birthday. Don and I go way back to 1960, when new faculty, and that was 64 years ago, believe it or not, 64 years ago, we shared an office in the old speech drama building. Bill Walsh is here. Bill Walsh became 90 just a few weeks ago. Father Peter, who had to leave early because he has to say Mass later in the day, Father Peter will be 90 in just a few days. He and I are almost exactly the same age. I don't want to be morbid. I want to be joyful. But I must say that I miss many friends and colleagues at CSUN who have died, beautiful men and women who are still part of my life. I was the youngest of the old guys. So for years, I gave eulogies and wrote obituaries. In fact, I was the unofficial English department memorialist. Which reminds me of a story about George H.W. Bush when he was vice president under Reagan. You know, Reagan wouldn't let him do anything except attend state funerals. So the Washington Press Corps said his motto was, "You die, I fly." Well, wisdom, some say, but it's not always true, comes with old age. So for weeks I've been digging in my library, looking for nuggets that I might offer to you as a gist of what I've learned over the years. Not much there. But here goes. The Hebrew Bible tells a story about two people in love who made paradise. My mother loved the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. So when I was a teenager, we often read it together. And here's a favorite quatrain. A book of verses beneath the bough, a loaf of bread, a jug of wine, and thou beside me, singing in the wilderness. Ah, wilderness is paradise enow. But of course it didn't quite work out. They lost paradise. But I still haven't lost faith. Here's a part of a song by Leonard Cohen that seems to say it all. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of Song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah. And maybe just one more by James Taylor. Shower the people you love with love. And finally, in the words of Molly Bloom, at the end of Ulysses, yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much.
What great.
Sure.